Welcome to Garrett's Games. We are a podcast and video series about board games. My name's Doug.
My name's Shelly.
And we're here today to talk about Calçada.
Calcada.
All right, we think it's Calçada.
I'm
all
not
right,
sure
with the
how to
little
say it,
under there. This is from Konstantinos, Karagiannis, and Vangelis Bagiartakis from Piatnik. It is for 2 to 4 players, plays in about 40 minutes, 10 plus. This was a Spiel 2024 release, and it's one that's kind of grown on us. It was a pure blind pickup, other than the fact that it is kind of, as you can see in the picture, a game about the Portuguese tiles that you see in a lot of the cities of Portugal, in Lisbon and so on and so forth. So it is a game that has a little bit, not complete, Mancala-esque mechanism.
And that was also one of the reasons why.
That's true.
Because
That's true.
do like Mancala.
And it is a tile-laying game and a little bit of a race as you try to score the most points in 5 different colors of tiles on your player board. So let's talk a little bit about Calçada. So in Calçada, as I said, we've got 5 different color tiles. Those are tied to the 5 different colors of stones here, or wooden blocks. We have the action board over here, which could remind you a little bit of Mancala, which is one of Shelley's favorite games from childhood. She remember playing it all the time. You used to play it all the time, right?
Oh yeah, as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid.
But I've liked all the newer games with that
Sure,
mechanism
exactly.
in it, so
yeah. So, but this isn't Mancala, exactly. But though, you know, in Mancala, what you would do is you'd pick up all of the pieces in a spot and then put them one at a time, and the last one you place would be, especially in games that use it now, kind of a triggering mechanism of some sort.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll talk about the actions in a minute. Everybody has a player board, and you all start with the same side of the player board, and they are double-sided. And as you can see, they look different, right? We have groupings of squares in 2 to 5, and then each of the squares themselves is numbered. Okay. So there are 2 ways to score. And why don't you talk about the grouping scoring, where you score at the end of the game based on the different symbols on the tiles. And why don't you talk about the tiles, since they're over your area?
Well, the tiles, they come in different pictures, right? So we have a little one like this.
Palm tree.
We have one that's like a
square where people meet. Little ride of some kind, or maybe a kiosk where you go and buy your coffee.
I'm not exactly sure what some of these things are.
This is a fountain. Okay. And then you've got a streetcar.
And then there's some money.
Well, yeah.
And the money one is different than the others, but the same symbols or backgrounds, or the same symbols are in each of these colors.
Right. Exactly.
So you'll have these 3 to choose from.
Right, and 5, and you can see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different of these motifs.
Right.
And so grouping those together is one of the things that you're trying to do.
So yeah, if you do 2 together, you get 1 point, but then it goes up and up and up. So it could go up to, if you had 8 tiles that were the same next to each other, then you could get up to 18 points, which would be really hard to do, I think.
Now, when you're placing the tiles, any grouping of squares, and they're separated by color. So this is a group of 3 over here versus this is a separate group of 2. This plus in the middle is a group of 5.
There's also like a black little line around.
Yeah, that does
help.
That tells you, and I should say, there's in the very corner you can see there's a little hashtags of how many tiles go in that group. So
that's important.
Which is nice to see. But all of the tiles in that particular group have to be the same color. So I could only put, say, white in this area. I could also put white down here as well, but it would be separate from there. Because what you're trying to do, the other way to score, besides getting the groups of the motifs together, is to finish an entire area. When you do, you trigger scoring. All right? So, but how do you do an action? Well, an action is choosing any one of the blocks that is here, moving it forward 1 space, but as you pick it up, you say its color and how many blocks are in the space it currently is in. So, for example, I could take one of these blocks, which is in a group of 5, and say I took the brown, I would say I'm doing brown 5. I move it forward 1, and then that means I'm taking a brown tile. So say I'm trying to get this motif, for example, since there are a bunch of those out there.
Right.
And I'm going to put it then, because it was on a 5,
Anywhere
because,
on your board.
so on this 5 or this 5 or this 5. But of course, since I'm trying to group those motifs together, as one of my challenges, by putting it here, I could be next to 2 other colors as well as brown, right? And so it would be really nice, for example, if I started to do yellow, because a yellow could be a here and here as part of this group of 5, and I could get these 2 as well, possibly, unless, of course, Shelley takes them.
But once you've determined that one area, all those ones in that area have to remain the brown color.
So this and these 2 here are going to have to be brown in order for me to complete that area.
But they can be any of these tiles.
Right.
But these do not refill.
Right, that's key. You do not immediately place so that there are 3 out there, because the other 2 things you can do as options on your turn is spend money. The first of which is so for example, maybe I really needed to get a brown again. Maybe I wanted this tile, but I wanted to place it in a 1 spot. Well, I could spend a coin and move any cube, but in this case, I'm the one that I want to then do for my turn. So now, when I move this, it's brown 1. Move it forward, and now I'd be placing on any of the 1s that are on my board. So that's the first way of spending money. The second way of spending money, and it could be that maybe it was like this, right? And I could spend, and I could move the red 1, so then I could do then a brown 1. So that it's a nice little twist that you've got for both of those. The second thing that you can do is you can, again, spend a coin, and maybe these brown, I'm like, well, I don't want those.
Yeah.
1 or more, I can get rid of all of a color, put it on the bottom, and get 3 more. So I've paid to flush a particular color before I then take a tile in that. And you can do that multiple times. I may have done that a couple times.
Yeah, using 2 to say, oh, maybe I really wanted to get, I'm not sure.
Maybe you wanted to get a brown 2.
Yeah, so
right?
I have to move it 2.
And now it's in 2, and
then
now
I
you can
move
do it.
1,
Right.
and I take the one I wanted.
So you're always picking up from a spot, naming the color and the number of cubes that are in that spot. That number is what you're going to be placing on, and then moving that cube 1 place forward.
It's also if you get, say, say if you did this and you said yellow 3, moved it here. Now I've just set Doug up.
Yeah, because now there's 6 in here, and we missed the rule the first time we played this, and we thought this was blocked, but no, that's not the case. What it is you can move from here, and now you could place on any number 1 through 5 in your board from an area that has 6 cubes in it.
And you just have to pick the color, right?
Right. As soon as an area fills, so say for example, I had done this, and by the way, when you take these don't count as a motif. This is you just get 2 extra money. Okay, so say I had filled this area. Okay, I look over and I say, oh, I was the first to fill it. Yeah. I look over here. Here's the scoring. Brown is scoring at ×3 for the number of tiles in the area. So I would get 3 times 3. That would be 9 points. So I would advance to 9. This then moves down, and now brown becomes less valuable. The game ends when 2 of the blocks get completely off. And by the way, when a block gets completely off that color, you can no longer take tiles in that color. All right?
Right.
The last area, by the way, scores ×1, but you add 2 points regardless. So if I filled an area, this 5 tile area in the middle with blue, for example, I would get 5 times 1 plus 2, 7 total points, and now none of us could do blue. for the rest of the game.
So you can see each one has only the opportunity to score three
times.
But once, like Doug said, once two are off, let's say it was like that or something.
Yeah, game's over.
Game's over.
Exactly.
But when it's interesting too is if
you finish out the round.
Yeah,
I should say.
yeah. But I mean, if you were working on blue.
Yeah, if you're not going to complete the thing that you want,
so or really paying attention
you were trying to get these wonderful little fountains here, and you were ready to go and get that last fountain, but boom, blue's done. You can't get that fountain anymore. Okay, to set up your motifs. All right, then you've got your scoring that's happened during the game. You're going to do the scoring based on the motifs, and you get 1 point for every 2 money, and that's the game. Okay, so as I say at this time, every video, what'd you think of this game?
You know what I think? I think I do like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's a really fun game. It's straightforward. It's middleweight.
Yeah, definitely middleweight.
Very approachable.
But there's some really good things here.
Yeah, there really is.
And it's grown on me over the course of plays, right?
Yeah,
I am now
liked it
consistently losing. But, that's it's okay. At least this last game, I only lost by 3. The previous game, I was lost by like over 8. So it wasn't very nice.
It's fun to determine like where you want to place them. If you're paying attention to what the other player's doing.
You do have, of course, some luck in the game based on how the motifs come out and what's going to be available.
That's where you have to flush.
Right, you want to flush and do that. Shelley was very good in these last 2 games that we played of this, and I was like, "Ugh! She keeps on beating me to the punch." But it's straightforward.
Yeah, it is straightforward. And you're keeping track of your score as you're going along. So you can kind of see where everyone's at.
But it has a good think about it. I mean, there were a couple of times where you're looking at the board and it's like, well, I could move the brown from there. Because there's 3 cubes of each type on the action area, right?
Oh, right.
So you're looking and, well, I could move that one, or I could do this, and then possibly place it over there. And you're looking at your options and the possibilities based on all of the choices that you have in terms of the tiles. So there is the possibility of some analysis paralysis. But it shouldn't be too bad.
No, it shouldn't be.
It's really interesting.
It's fun. I mean, because you're trying to think, if I try to get this bigger one to score higher, then I might not be able to accomplish that because then, the other player may go, and I'm just going to do it for 2 so that I can get the score amount to go down. And then maybe I do another quick one for 2, so maybe we get not able to do.
Somebody did that.
There's a lot of different things you could do in the game.
Yeah.
And it is fun, and I definitely recommend it for sure.
Yeah, one of the things that we've realized when we're going to Essen, and we're going this year again, we're going to have daily videos, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and give us a thumbs up on all of these things so that you find out when we've got more videos here. But going to places, now, Piatnik is a big company,
definitely.
They're a big company in Europe, but their games don't come over here, or, very rarely. So they have those family-style games that can be really fun and hit that middle weight. Oh, we could introduce this to more casual gamers, but it really has some good thinking. We really enjoy it as a 2-player game.
It works really well 2-player. It's a lot of
so
fun.
we're always on the hunt. Currently I'm, of course, going through all of the Spiel preview on Board Game Geek and checking over and seeing what I've got. I'm contacting publishers. Publishers, if you're watching this, contact me. I'd love to talk to you, okay? But we're always on the lookout for games that have flown under the radar. And this is a game we talked about, back in March on the audio podcast. But in going back and looking over kind of the list of games that we got, I was like, well, this is one we need to get out again and do a re-review, and we hadn't done a video for. So it was like, we got to do that. So really fun stuff. So again, this is Calçada from, sorry guys, some Greek here, Konstantinos, Karagiannis, and Vangelis Bagiartakis, 2 to 4 players, 45 minutes from Piatnik. Really solid title that might be, given the way Piatnik's sales and stuff go, might be an easy pickup and an affordable pickup for those of you who are heading to Spiel this year. Check it out. We're glad you tuned in. Remember, you can support this podcast or this video series and our podcast by going to patreon.com/Garrett's Games, or head down to the show notes and check out the extensive list of games that no longer fit on our shelves but belong on your table. Thanks as always for watching. We'll see you at Spiel maybe, and see you next week. Bye. That was good. Good back and forth on that. Yeah, it's good. It was good. Yep. Okay.
Hue new. What's that? It looks like that hue, like the color.
Yeah, I don't know. I this is one you had at school, I think.
No. I don't know what it is. I didn't have this at school. So